Hello everyone. How are you all? I hope you all are keeping fine. Today we will study about the topic sound. From morning till night, we hear sounds every day. Early in the morning, we hear the chirping of birds. By the time we get ready for the school, we hear the sounds of buses, cars, and other automobiles. When we reach the school, we hear the voices of our friends and teachers and the sound of ringing bells. Even at night, when all other sounds cease, we may still hear the buzzing of a mosquito or ticking of a clock. But how do we identify the sounds from different sources? Every sound has its own characteristic quality which helps us in identifying it. Sound is a form of energy that produces the sensation of hearing in our ears. In the previous chapter, we would have read about vibratory motion, the motion of an object in which a part of the object moves to and fro or back and forth in a fixed pattern about its mean position is called vibratory motion. Sound is produced by a body when it vibrates. These vibrations travel through the air or another medium and can be heard when they reach the person's or animal's ear. Sound can be heard only as long as the object vibrates. If the vibrations are large, they can be seen and the sound can be heard. However, small vibrations cannot be seen and the sound produced by them can be heard. Let us see one activity to understand it. Here we can see a picture wherein a ruler is placed on a table. We will take a plastic ruler, hold its one end firmly on the table with one hand. Flick the free end of the ruler with your hand. You will observe that the ruler vibrates rapidly and produces a humming sound. If you now touch the vibrating part of the ruler, you will find that the vibration stops and so does the sound. We can conclude that the vibrating ruler produces sound. Next, let us see the next picture wherein a set of glasses is placed in a unique pattern. When a spoon is allowed to move over the glasses, a sound is produced. Why? Because vibration is the source of sound. Let us do one more activity to understand the same topic. We will take a rubber band and cut it to get a string. Now stretch the string, keeping its one end in your mouth, under the teeth, and the other end in your hand, as we can see here. When you pluck the string from the middle, you will see that the string starts vibrating and a feeble sound is heard. Let us have one more. We will take a drum and strike it using a drum striker. The drum will produce sound. Now place some ping pong balls on the surface of the drum and strike it again. You will observe that along with the sound produced by the drum, the ping pong ball jumps up and down. Why? The jumping balls show that the skin of the drum is vibrating. Thus, we can conclude that when a drum is producing sound, its skin is in the state of vibration. From all these examples, we can straightaway say that the sound is produced by a body when it vibrates. When there is no vibration, there is no sound. Sound needs a medium for its propagation. It cannot travel in vacuum. Sound produced by a vibrating body travels from one place to another place through mechanical vibrations of the medium particles in form of waves. Medium can be solid, liquid, or gas. When there is no medium, we call it vacuum. Thus, a material medium is required for the propagation of sound. This can be easily demonstrated by the following experiment. Take an electric bell and an airtight glass bell jar. The electric bell is suspended inside the bell jar. The bell jar is connected to a vacuum pump, as we can see here. As the circuit of electric bell is completely pressed, by pressing the key, the hammer of the electric bell is seen to strike the gong repeatedly and the sound of bell is heard. Now keeping the key pressed, the air is gradually withdrawn from the jar by the help of vacuum pump. It is noticed that the loudness of the sound goes on decreasing as the air is taken out from the bell jar, and finally no sound is heard when the entire jar is empty without air. The hammer of the electric bell is still seen striking the gong repeatedly, which means that the gong is still vibrating to produce the sound, but sound is not heard. Let us explain this scenario. When the hammer of the bell hits the gong, sound is produced due to the vibrations of the gong which travels through the air to the wall of the jar. This causes the wall of the jar to vibrate, due to which the air outside the jar is also set into vibrations. Thus, the sound is heard by us. But when the air has been removed from the jar, sound produced due to the vibrations of the gong could not travel to the walls of the jar. So, the wall cannot vibrate and no sound is heard. It clearly demonstrates that sound requires a material medium for its transmission and it cannot travel through vacuum. Let us now talk about certain sources of sound. A tuning fork. It is a U-shaped instrument usually made up of steel. It has two arms called prongs and a handle called stem. Any of the prongs is struck gently on a rubber pad, it vibrates and produces sound. Tuning forks are generally used in laboratories for producing sound vibration. The speciality of this instrument is that it is the only instrument which can produce a single frequency sound, which is popularly known as monotone. A sound of single frequency is called a monotone. A tuning fork is the only source of sound which produces sound of single frequency. Generally, tuning forks are made up of frequencies which correspond to the musical notes. Different tuning forks may have different frequencies. When struck with a rubber pad, a tuning fork vibrates with its own frequency. The frequency produced by the tuning fork is marked on it. The second source of sound is the sound produced by humans. Humans can shout, gaunt, sing, and make many other sounds with the help of an organ called larynx or voice box. The larynx lies between the pharynx and trachea. It has a pair of stretchable ligaments known as vocal cords. A narrow slit is present between the two vocal cords for the passage of air. The vocal cords vibrate and produce sound when air passes through them. The muscles attached to the vocal cords may stretch or loosen the ligaments, thus changing the frequency of the vibrations. When the vocal cords are tight and thin, the voice is of high frequency. But when the vocal cords are loose or thick, the voice is of low frequency. Thus, voices of different pitch and loudness are produced. Usually, larynx is bigger in male than in females. That is why the voice of a woman is shrill as compared to a man. When you place your hands on your throat and make different kind of sounds such as buzzing, singing, talking in high and low voices, can you feel the vibrations in your throat? This is because when we make sounds, our vocal cord vibrate. Let me tell you one more information. Human beings have only two vocal cords. The range of sounds produced is due to the vibration of vocal cords. Sound produced by animals. Animals are able to produce wide range of sounds. Animals with lungs, such as frogs, and almost all mammals produce sound by blowing air through their vocal cords. Unlike humans, most animals cannot make complex sounds because their larynx usually lies at a much higher position in the windpipe. Birds use a ring of cartilage called syrinx fixed at the lower end of the windpipes. Sound is produced when air passes through it. Some birds also have two parts in the voice box. Thus, they can produce two notes at the same time. Fish have bladders which can vibrate, produce sound. Grasshoppers produce chirping sound by rubbing the stiff hair on their legs. Mosquitoes and bees make a buzzing sound by rapidly vibrating their wings. Snakes hiss by forcing the air out of their mouths. Sound produced by different musical instruments. Musical instruments also produce sound through vibrations. Musical instruments can be classified into four groups, depending upon the part in which the vibrations are occurring. We have stringed instruments, percussion instrument, wind instrument, reed instruments. Stringed instruments. These instruments have two parts, a hollow body and strings. The stretched strings vibrate when plucked or when stroked with a bow to produce sound. The hollow body enhances the sound produced by the strings. The air trapped inside the hollow body forms an air column. Some examples of stringed instruments are veena, santoor, guitar, harp, and tanpura. Membrane instruments or percussion instruments. These instruments have a hollow frame with a skin or a membrane stretched tightly across their openings. When the skin is struck, vibrations are produced. Wind instruments. Sound in wind instruments such as flute, bugle is produced due to the vibration of air columns when air is blown into them by musicians. Reed instruments. Some instruments such as harmonium, trumpet and mouth organ have metal reeds. Sound is produced when air is blown through these metal reeds. Sound as longitudinal wave. When a body is struck, it vibrates. Yes, and the adjacent particles in the surrounding air is also set into vibration. During vibrations, the particles also transfer some amount of energy. These vibrations, along with the transfer of energy, are passed on to the adjacent particles till they reach our eardrum. These vibrations travel in the direction of propagation of sound, forming a longitudinal wave. Thus, a longitudinal wave can be defined as a wave in which particles vibrate in the same direction as that of sound. When a sound wave moves, there is transfer of energy but no transfer of matter. When we hear a bell ring, the sound wave does not carry the particles of air from around the bell to the ears. It is only the disturbance that travels through the adjacent particles of air to the ears. In a longitudinal wave, the air particles vibrate and move back and forth. The vibration in the forward direction causes the air particles to get crowded together, creating a region of high pressure. This region of sound wave of high pressure is known as compression. Vibration in the backward direction causes the air particle to spread out, occupying more space and creating a low pressure region called rarefaction. One compression and one rarefaction together corresponds to one vibration. Let us understand how the sound is propagated in air. Propagation of sound in air. When a source of sound vibrates, it creates a periodic disturbance in the medium near it. The disturbance then travels in the medium in form of waves. We can see here an example where we take a vertical metal strip with its lower end fixed, push its upper end to one side and then release it. As it vibrates, moves alternatively to the right and the left, it produces sound. As the strip moves to the right from A to B, it pushes the particles of the air layer in front of it. So the particles of this air in this layer come closer to each other. And such a region, compression is formed. The particles of this layer, while moving towards the right, pushes and compresses the layer next to it, which then compresses the next layer, and so on. Thus, the disturbance moves in the forward direction in form of compressions. As the metal strip starts returning from B to A in the figure C, after pushing the particles near the strip, the compression moves forward and the particles near the strip return back to their normal position due to the elasticity of the medium. When the strip moves from left to C, it pushes the layer of air next towards the left, thus produces a space of very low pressure on its right. The air layers on the right side of the strip expand in this region, thus forming a rarefied layers. This region of low pressure is called rarefaction. By the time the strip returns from C to its mean position A, the rarefaction moves forward and air layers near the strip return back to their normal position due to the elasticity of the medium. In this manner, as the strip moves to the right and left repeatedly, the compression and rarefaction regions are produced one after the other, which carry the disturbance along with a definite speed depending on the nature of the medium. Let us learn more about the propagation of sound in a tuning fork. When a tuning fork is gently rubbed against a rubber pad or struck against a rubber pad, the prongs of the tuning fork moves in and out repeatedly, constituting the region called compression and rarefaction. Compression refers to the region of increasing pressure, whereas rarefaction refers to the region of decreasing pressure, till the time the complete vibrations reaches our ear. Let us come to some terms related to sound waves. Oscillation, the to and fro motion of particles of medium when one full wave is constituted, is known as one oscillation. Wavelength, the length of the wave along the x-axis or the distance between two successive crests or troughs, is known as wavelength. It is represented by letter lambda. Its SI unit is meter. Frequency, the number of oscillations made by a wave in unit time is called its frequency. The SI unit of frequency is Hertz. The symbol of frequency is F. Time period, the time taken by a wave to complete one oscillation is known as its time period. Its symbol is capital T and the SI unit of time period is seconds. Amplitude, it is defined as the maximum displacement of a wave on either side of its mean position. It is denoted by symbol capital A and its SI unit is meter. Thank you. Hope you liked the video.